For the first time in more than a decade, OU was back on the gridiron with Notre Dame. How did the Crimson and Green fare in this historic rivalry? We were there for groundbreaking and several phases of the construction, and now we're taking you inside the newly finished Devon Energy Center. Plus, ghostly apparitions in the halls, mysterious footsteps in the stairwells. Some state workers say they're afraid to be in their office alone. We'll investigate this story and more coming up on NewsOK TV.
This is NewsOK TV.
This is NewsOK TV. Notre Dame football players had not set foot on Oklahoma soil in decades, but the Fighting Irish returned on Saturday to face the Sooners in Norman. It was a top 10 matchup. Notre Dame went into the game ranked number 5 in the nation. OU just a few steps behind at number 8. You're watching NewsOK TV. I'm Dave Morris. My co-anchor, Angie Bruss, is taking some time off. We kick off this week's edition with a historic rivalry. Our own sports team was at Owen Field for the showdown, and they have the highlights.
Another Notre Dame trip to Norman, another massive disappointment for the Sooners. I'm Barry Trammell along with Jason Kersey. We're here on Owen Field where Saturday night the Fighting Irish delivered a 30-13 knockout of the Sooners, continuing the domination in this series that now rises to 9-1. And Jason, the Irish own the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they did. They owned the fourth quarter. It was largely like the Kansas State loss here about a month ago. They came into the fourth and were able to force a key interception late, like they did against Kansas State. This one was reviewed, but Manti Te'o proving maybe having a Heisman moment almost with that play, diving to get that interception. That really helped seal the win when OU was trying to come back again. After OU had finally tied the game at one point, Notre Dame is able to come back with a 50-yard pass, really showing that they have big play potential on offense, where it was thought that OU had the edge in that category. And so, yeah, the fourth quarter was really the key, and they were able to really pull away and keep themselves in the national championship discussion.
Notre Dame just played a pristine game. Notre Dame combined turnovers and penalties won. An offside penalty in the first half on nose guard Lewis Nix, but the Irish played pristine football.
Yeah, they really did, and Oklahoma on their first offensive possession, they're driving down and having a little bit of success, and a miscommunication gave Eichert snaps the ball back. They lose 19 yards. It really killed the momentum there, and then the 62-yard touchdown run that Notre Dame had really kind of sucked the energy out of the stadium, where a lot of people, this felt like an electric atmosphere, and it really kind of sucked the energy out of it when they did that.
Yeah, the crowd got more and more nervous as the game went on. Now, the Sooners did give the crowd, the largest in Owen Field history, a reason to celebrate. Got the 13-13 tie in the fourth quarter, but then quarterback Everett Golson makes the huge 50-yard play, the 50-yard pass to Chris Brown, his first reception as a collegian. That reversed the momentum. Notre Dame dominated from there on out.
Yeah, they really did. After that play and after that touchdown, it was really over. And, Oklahoma had really gotten a lot of momentum back by tying the score. Blake Bell had passed to convert a fourth down, scored the first rushing touchdown against this defense all year, and it looked like the game might really, stay that way, stay low scoring and competitive, but really it was completely changed after that.
Well, it's a sad night for the Sooners, who now are chasing Kansas State, which beat Texas Tech today. So Kansas State in firm command of the Big 12 title race. Oklahoma out of the Big Bowl contention, and also just hanging on barely to stay alive for the Big 12 title. Stay tuned for further OU football coverage here on NewsOK and every day in the Oklahoma.
You can get more highlights from the game online at newsok.com, and you can vote on your favorite play on The Quest, hosted by Damon Fondu. The Sooners are back on the road on November 3rd. They will travel to Ames, Iowa to take on the Iowa State Cyclones. Heading north now to Stillwater, that's where the OSU Cowboys took on Big 12 newcomers, the TCU Horned Frogs. The Pokes have been plagued by injuries the last several weeks, and there were a lot of questions heading into this game. Our sports gurus were also in Stillwater. They have those answers.
I'm Jenny Carlson here with Gina Mizell. We're in Stillwater, where Oklahoma State has defeated TCU 36-14. Gina, a big win for Oklahoma State. The news of the day, Wes Lunt returns. How do you think it performed today?
Well, he started out pretty slow, as did the whole offense. As a whole, he kind of just looked uncomfortable. He looked a little tentative, and obviously had the pick six, which was TCU's first touchdown. They were backed up deep in their own territory on that play. But as the game got going, he started to make better throws. And then, when the Cowboys finally scored a touchdown on 4th and goal, Jeremy Smith gets into the end zone. That really seemed to just spark this team. But overall, they went from they kicked 5 field goals, but overall scored 36 unanswered points in this game. So again, it was a good performance for Wes Lunt. Not great, but it was nice, of course, for the Cowboys for him to return.
18 of 33 was Wes Lunt for 324 yards, had that pick Gina mentioned and a touchdown pass. It seemed like, though, that you mentioned the 36 unanswered. While the offense did the scoring, the defense also played some shutdown defense. Talk about that defense. We've seen them really start to come into their own these last couple weeks.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at the Iowa State game, and after giving up 10 points in the first quarter, 11 consecutive stops for this defense. And then today, they gave up 1 touchdown. Obviously, like I mentioned before, the pick six was one of TCU's scores. So the defense gives up 1 touchdown and then nothing else the rest of the game. So, again, we heard so much about this defense coming into the season. I think, they're finally back healthy. They're getting pressure on the quarterback. They're getting good pursuit up the middle from those defensive tackles, and they started to force some turnovers as well. So I think we're starting to kind of see midway through the season this defense come around a little bit, but 2 touchdowns they've given up in the past 2 games, that's pretty darn good against no matter who you're playing.
In the Big 12, when they like to pass it around and score a bunch, it's really difficult to hold teams to that. Joe Randall, the other story in this game offensively for the Cowboys, 32 carries, Gina, and had 5 catches, so 37 touches for Joe Randall today. Can he keep up that kind of production?
Well, I don't think the coaches want him to, and I don't think he's going to need to, because Jeremy Smith was now back for the first time, really. He had 1 carry against Kansas, he had 1 carry against Iowa State, and then seemed to tweak that ankle that's been bothering him and, limped off the field and never came back into the game. So I think now that he's back, again, he scored that big touchdown. I think that really helps this offense. But, yeah, Joseph Randall has turned into a workhorse for this team. That's something we've written about earlier this week, and that was his first game with 30 carries. But he kind of, again, was that methodical type runner that we expected him to be against a really good TCU rushing defense that doesn't give up 100 yards a game on average. So he played well again and was kind of the key consistent part of this offense.
TCU doesn't give up more than 100 yards rushing, but he had 126 today. Great day for Joe Randall. Lastly, Gina, real quickly, let's look ahead for a second. Kansas State now looms on the schedule for Oklahoma State, a really murderous stretch, 4 games that are going to be super tough. It starts next week at Manhattan. How much of a challenge are these Wildcats going to present to Oklahoma State?
Oh, I mean, it's going to be a really tough test, for this Oklahoma State team going on the road against Kansas State, against Colin Klein, who's arguably the Heisman front runner right now. But you mentioned this isn't just a tough game; it's a tough stretch for these Cowboys. They got West Virginia coming in here on November 10th, then they got Texas Tech coming in here on November 17th. Then they go to OU. So really, when you look at this game, this win, this was huge for this team, not just, to get another win in Big 12 play, but they might need this to get bowl eligible, depending on how the stretch goes to end the season. So big win tonight, tough stretch coming up, and the Cowboys are going to be viewed as underdogs in a lot of these games coming up. But if they keep putting together performances like the way they have the past 2 weeks, they might be able to score an upset. But in Manhattan next week, it's going to be very, very tough.
All right, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at NewsOK.com and every day in the Oklahoman.
Oklahoma State will head north to Manhattan, Kansas for a matchup against Kansas State. That game's on November 3rd. Then it's back home to Boone Pickens Stadium on November 10th to play against the West Virginia Mountaineers. Coming up on NewsOK TV, we'll take you on a tour of the Devon Energy Center and even get a glimpse at the restaurant at the top of the tower. It's called Vast. And later, state employees have some eerie tales about their office. Are there really ghosts walking the halls of a state agency? We'll find out next on NewsOK TV.
Everyone gets excited on game day. With the Oklahoman Full Access, you can get your sports news any way you like. The Oklahoman Full Access includes print, smartphones, tablets, print replica, and our digital archives, starting as low as $12 a month. And it's free to current print subscribers. Log on to newsok.com/subscribe to get started today. The Oklahoman Full Access.
Hello, this is Mary. I can help you. Hi, my grandma wants to know how to record my show.
Press the guide button on the remote.
Abuelita, toca el botón guide.
Now find your show on the screen and press record.
Ahora busca el programa en la
Pantalla.
Working hard for every smile. Another reason why Cox is your friend in the digital age.
Everyone has their morning routine. With the Oklahoman Full Access, you can get your morning news any way you like. The Oklahoman Full Access includes print, smartphones, tablets, print replica, and our digital archives, starting as low as $12 a month. And it's free to current print subscribers. Log on to oklahoman.com/subscribe to get started today. The Oklahoman Full Access.
Welcome back to NewsOK TV. I'm Dave Morris. After nearly 3 years of construction and anticipation, the Devon Energy Center is officially opened. Company officials and civic leaders were on hand earlier this month to mark the grand opening of the tallest tower in Oklahoma City. Executive Chairman Larry Nichols gave the media a tour of the brand new facility, and here's a glimpse of Oklahoma City's newest skyscraper through the lenses of photojournalists Tim Money and Garrett Fisbeck.
Well, when we built this building, we got a lot of people who said, are you going to let us come up and see the view? Are you going to build an observation deck? We knew there would be a tremendous demand for people who would want to come and take in the view. And rather than just have an observation deck, we said, let's just build a quality restaurant, a quality banquet, wedding reception place where people can come any day and enjoy the view. And that's what we built. You know, we don't have mountains and oceans to look at, but we do have the Great Plains and sunrises and sunsets. And people just enjoy big, expansive views. That's human nature. We all go to places around the country where you have these sort of expansive views. And we wanted this building to enhance the community. We wanted it to be a part of the community and something that everyone in the community can enjoy, which is why we opened the top 2 floors to the public. One of the concepts that we wanted in this building was to have the definition between the public part and the private part as seamless as you can make it. And so we're in a public hallway. This will be open to the public whenever the building's open. So you can come in from the street, walk to the vast restaurant right through here. And this reflecting pool really is both a beautiful feature, but it also separates the public from the private. That's behind our security. This is a typical floor. They're all basically designed exactly the same way. And one of the interesting things you'll see is there are no long, narrow hallways that are enclosed. Each hallway has at the end of it an open window, not reserved for someone's private office, but an open window. All of the windows, all of the offices have glass on each side, so that light flows into the inside of the building, so that anyone who has an interior office still can see light directly outside. It's a fairly unique design that really masquerades the fact how big this building is, because you don't see the long hallways and you get lots of light everywhere you look. This, as you can tell, is the auditorium. It's rather unusual for an auditorium because it has a solid glass wall. We're all used to auditoriums being totally enclosed boxes that are fairly dull and unexciting. We saw this in an auditorium in the New York Times building in New York City and built this all glass wall that faces our tower and the park across the street. Gives it an entirely different ambiance than a typical auditorium. 285 people can sit here. This is what it looks like, a fitness center that has been well attended by employees. It's absolutely full during lunch hour, almost full before work and after work. A lot of activity here, and it's not just dumb iron. It's run by Cooper Clinic, the medical center out of Dallas, so that there's an entire fitness program, biometric screening that we go through, sit down and work out an individual program for each employee to accomplish whatever their health goals are, and to point out to them what some of their health goals should be. So it's been well attended, well received by the employees. It's really operating at capacity. We call these our treehouse conference rooms, because they look out over our own garden and over the Mary Garden, and you get to be in a conference room that's not just surrounded by four walls. And again, as you've seen throughout this building, rather than an enclosed cafeteria down in the basement, which so many corporate cafeterias are, this one has this glass wall that goes a little over a block long that lets you eat both inside or outside in our garden, depending upon the weather.
And I would be remiss if I didn't remind you that there are plenty of archived materials on NewsOK.com from day one of the Devon Energy Center announcement through the present opening. We have videos, articles, and interactives, including 360 panoramas of the facility. Pretty cool stuff. Among the numerous features in the Devon Energy Center are places to eat. Wouldn't lie about that, including a restaurant that rests at the very top of the building. Vast opened on October 24th, and as you can imagine, there's a long waiting list as anxious Oklahomans have been making their reservations several weeks before the grand opening. The Oklahoman's food editor, Dave Cathy, traveled to the 49th floor, he did not take the stairs by the way, to visit the newest eatery in downtown Oklahoma City and to speak with the managers and chefs.
You know, as the concept goes, it's globally inspired American cuisine. We are trying to do something that speaks to, getting the best ingredients available and using our interpretation by using different techniques of well-known dishes from around the world. Reservations
are required for dinner, and the manager kindly suggests you make reservations for lunch as well. And of course, you can learn more about the restaurant and watch the complete video online at NewsOK.com. Coming up after the break, former Oklahoma City Thunder player Desmond Mason discusses how art influenced his career off the basketball court.
Social media gives readers a voice that they can interact with us in a way that I don't think they've ever been able to. And it allows us to, include their thoughts and their questions and everything in our content.
Whereas we used to just publish and just tell everybody what the news and entertainment and information was. The rest of the world wants to engage. They want to talk back. They want us to talk back to them. They want insight, they want opinion, and a lot of that is new culturally for a newspaper.
I look up to you for all the things you do. I hope to be like you someday soon.
Working hard for every smile. Another reason why Cox is your friend in the digital age.
Cooler temperatures and some precipitation. We're also likely to see strong winds with this front, and that could mean power outages across parts of the state. The system should...
The Oklahoman is delivering your news in a whole new way. Stay safe and informed with updated weather radar. Know what to expect with the 7-day forecast with video. Thumb through photos and more with the all-new Oklahoman iPad app, now available in the App Store.
Welcome back to NewsOK TV. I'm Dave Morris. Hundreds of artists from across the state gathered at the Skirvin Hilton earlier this month for the 2012 Oklahoma Arts Conference. The event featured students, educators, and even a former NBA athlete. Angie Bruss and Grayson Cook traveled to the Skirvin to learn more about the gathering.
Hey, it's Angie with NewsOK. I am here at the Skirvin Hilton Hotel in downtown Oklahoma City for the 2012 Oklahoma Arts Conference, Building Bridges to Vibrant Communities. And I'm here with Desmond Mason, who we all know and love. You're a part of this arts conference, the Oklahoma Arts Conference. Tell us why.
I'm actually one of the speakers, and just really to share my story on how art affected me and how it impacted my life and how I've been able to utilize it to help other people.
The Oklahoma Arts Council is hosting this arts conference in partnership with the Oklahomans for the Arts and through sponsorship with Chesapeake. We've held the conference for the last 6 years. We started out in Ardmore, and we've been to Stillwater, Norman, Enid, Oklahoma City, Tulsa. And it has grown every year. We have a record attendance this year. And so by us being able to help provide this professional development, we know that all of our constituents out there are going to get great training and be able to network with each other and really to find some good resources.
I'm an artist and a marketing professional, and so I see both sides of business and creativity. We all know the power of creativity and how it goes into entrepreneurship and how we create jobs and do better economic things for our community and give back to our community through our arts organization. So it's a very symbiotic relationship.
We know you obviously for being a basketball player, but we've also seen your artwork. So you have art shows and things like that around the community?
Yeah, I have shows here. The last couple of years I've went international with some of the shows, but you know, it's kind of bread and butter having shows here at home and exhibits. It's fun to do.
Or you showed some of your art at the Capitol, is that right?
Yeah, I had a art exhibit at the State Capitol, and it was there for a little over 3 months, and I have one now that's at the Gaylord Pickens Heritage Museum, and so it'll be there for another 2 weeks. So yeah, a lot of exhibits, a lot of painting.
You and your wife have, you've really invested in Oklahoma City and in Oklahoma, and that's what's really cool because you're not originally from here, is that right?
Yeah, I'm from Texas. My wife's from Portland, Oregon, and we met in college. So we're here now. This is home for us now, but yeah, we're both from 2 different places, but we love this community.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You can learn more about Oklahomans for the Arts by visiting their website. The address is there at the bottom of your screen. A company that started as a mobile coffee service has now found a permanent home in downtown Edmond. Jason and Jenny Duncan's new Cafe Evoke is located near 1st and Broadway in Edmond. Once again, we bring in Dave Cathy. He is the food dude after all. He says the cafe serves up one of the best cups of Java in the metro.
Hi, I'm Dave Cathy, the food dude, and I'm in the mood for coffee today, and that doesn't happen every day, so when I do it, I go somewhere really cool like this new place in downtown Edmond, Cafe Evoke. Let's go in and have a cup.
We have a great staff and great people behind us who helped us develop a fun food menu. And so we do most of our baked goods in-house, our breakfast baked goods. We have some pastries that rotate on a daily basis, and then we do some grab-and-go sandwiches. So we make them in the morning. We have them available throughout the day as they last. And then we have tableside s'mores, which are super fun. And we have some waffle cookies instead of graham crackers. And then we have Eskimosi chocolate. Then we do our marshmallows from a chocolate company in Dallas called Dude Sweet. And then we have wine and beer. We have a rotating list of wine and beer as well. We have about a dozen wines and about 8 to 10 beers normally. So after doing coffee catering and being kind of full into the industry for the past 8 years-ish, we've really gotten to develop a lot of great contacts, learn a lot, meet a lot of new roasters, meet a lot of industry folks that were just super passionate about what they were doing. And so when we had the shop, when we were developing all this, we realized that it gave us a new opportunity because we'd have a higher quantity that we'd be selling, we could bring in more roasters, different varieties, different regions, and we just have more access to stuff than what we had in the past. So that's been really fun, and we've our customer base has really gravitated towards always having something new, coming in and asking like, what's on pour over today? What do I have to try? So all that's helped us to grow closer to our customers as well. So we're open in the evenings already. But during the Thunder games, we will stay open through the entire game. And it's just a really fun, great crowd. It's a great place for families to come. If you want to come, you want to bring the kids, perfect place to bring the kids and hang out. We are located in downtown Edmond, 1st and Broadway, so kind of the old town of Edmond. We're in a beautiful old 1800s building. And we are open 7 days a week. Monday through Wednesday is 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Thursday through Saturday is 7 a.m. to midnight. Sunday is 8 to 5. And again, we will always stay open late for the Thunder game. So if it's on past closing time, we will still be open.
I have been there. I have consumed coffee. Pretty mean chocolate chip cookie there. And I'm not gonna lie, the s'mores are lots of fun and very delicious. In fact, Kyle Roberts was there with me, and we actually couldn't figure out how to get the s'mores lighter thing working because I'm just not smart enough like that, but I can tell you the food and coffee is quite excellent there. All right, coming up, objects flying off desks and strange footsteps in the stairwells. Workers for one state agency say their office building is haunted. We investigate, coming up next on NewsOK TV.
With the Oklahoman Full Access, we deliver your news any way you'd like. The Oklahoman Full Access includes print, smartphones, tablets, print replica, digital archives, and the new Oklahoman.com. Plans start at only $12 a month. And all this is free to current print subscribers. Log on to oklahoman.com/subscribe to get started today. The Oklahoman, full access.
I look up to you for all the things you do. I hope to be like you someday soon. 'Cause I look
Working
up to
hard for every smile. Another reason why Cox is your friend in the digital age.
We're shooting more photos at each assignment, but we're putting those into separate galleries that can be added into the iPad and online editions so that the viewers can see a lot more photographs. We can tell a lot more of the story visually, give them more detailed shots, more overall shots, just a lot more variety that really enriches their experience.
Welcome back to NewsOK TV. I'm Dave Morris, and we've come to the big finish. It wouldn't be Halloween without a good ghost story. An old church turned state office building apparently has some inhabitants that like to spook employees. There are a number of tales about the apparitions that walk the halls of the State Commerce Office. So when there's something strange going on, who are you going to call? That's right, the Oklahoman's Nolan Clay.
The building used to be a church. It was originally the Maywood Presbyterian Church. And several people in our building believe it's haunted. Occasionally, people will hear voices in the building. We've had people report papers flying off their desk. The most common is the sound of running in the stairwell. The doors opening to the restrooms and the paper towel dispensers running. Once I heard music from the 30s and 40s playing. And then when I stood up and stepped out of my cubicle, it stopped. When I stepped back into my cubicle, it picked right up where it was. And then once I had my ruler come off my desk. Just sort of like someone just flicked it right off onto the floor. I went home when that happened. People have heard noises in the main conference room on the first floor occasionally. It'll sound like people talking, but you really can't understand what they're saying. But you'll distinctly hear either male or female voices. There's probably a fourth of the people who work here who have either heard noises or believe. No one's reported being harmed. It's never really interfered. It hasn't interfered with the operations of the agency. It's just kind of an added feature of the building.
And that's all the time we have for this edition of NewsOK TV. You can find all these videos and plenty more online at newsok.com.